Earlier this semester, I had the opportunity to join Laura at a Mesa Public Schools district meeting, and we presented to all of the administrators in Mesa Public Schools, and I shared this information with them. So just to give you some insight about the program, so this is only MPS. We have, gosh, I think 21 high school partners. I think that's how many we have now. So Mesa Public Schools are 6 of our high schools that we work with. Obviously, they generate the most footsie for dual enrollment. So I presented this to Mesa Public Schools so they could see what their numbers were last year. So we split the footsie pretty much with the high school. So the actual, there were 223 dual enrollment classes in Mesa Public Schools last year, about 3,200 student enrollments. So what I did was I wanted to show them, if you had about 30 students per class, how many, about what percentage would have enrolled for dual enrollment credit. And so this is what their total footsie, their reimbursement was back to Mesa Public Schools. Mesa Public Schools allocates, they give the money back to the high school, and those funds are supposed to go back in the program. I'm telling you this because I care a lot about high school teachers. I'm a former high school teacher, and they do a lot of work with no compensation in this arena. You really have to be invested in early college programs and wanting your students to be successful in college to participate in dual enrollment. It's a lot of extra step and work for them with no compensation except for this money. I've not been shy in the past 5 years to tell dual enrollment instructors that this money is coming back to their high school they didn't even know, and that they should be advocates, and the registrar should be advocates to put those funds right back into the classroom. That's what the money is intended for. So those funds should go back for classroom materials, and they can be used for professional development. So a workaround, and I'm encouraging you, I'm telling you this to maybe talk to the teachers about this, is that they advocate for those funds that they're generating for their school. And the other slide I showed them was this, so just a reminder of the cost differential between community college and the university. The more that we can get this message out to our dual enrollment instructors, to our early college students, they understand the savings of coming to a community college. And additionally, students in dual enrollment do not pay for any textbooks. So that footsie money is what the high school is supposed to use for textbooks. Now, I don't have any program that has designated a textbook that the high school is supposed to be using unless you're communicating that with them and not telling me. So really the high schools are using those just for instructional materials. But if you have a textbook that you want the high school teacher to use, we need to let the district know, and the district is supposed to purchase that book for the classroom. So I was brought on board with dual enrollment when dual enrollment fell under the umbrella for HLC. Prior to that, dual enrollment was not evaluated, and so now everything needs to be in alignment. Instructor qualifications, instructional materials, understanding that the courses are matching to the high school. It is a college class. This is not a high school class where 3 students are doing college work. The high school class is a college class. That's the way that the course is supposed to be offered. There should be an alignment with everything that's happening in the dual enrollment class to the college class. I would love to tell you that that's happening, right, in an ideal world, but it's a work in progress. And I see dual enrollment as our pipeline for enrollment, right? It's our reputation in the community. Our interactions with high school teachers is our reputation in the community and with the early college students. So if we see that there are discrepancies, then it's in our best interest to work with those high schools so that they can match the college course. For example, we had an issue in interior design, and the OPD said, I'm just noticing that the students coming from the high school are not at the same level when they take this class as the college students. So what we did is that high school teacher is now an adjunct for the department, so she's attending all the department meetings. She's shadowing somebody in a campus course, and we're brainstorming ways that the high school students can be bused to the college for their final project, and they can present their final project with the other college students taking the same class. I think those are the creative things that we need to do so that dual enrollment students feel like they're part of the college, and the high school instructors also feel like they're part of our system. Okay, so some action items. The first thing I want to show you is a new web page. So our program was blowing up this summer, and I couldn't handle the emails, and so I created a web page, Become a DE Instructor. If you are out in the field and you're observing somebody and they have a colleague that wants to teach a dual enrollment class, please just send them to this page. All of the information is here. The process starts with this page, right? That a dual enrollment instructor can send us their resume, unofficial transcripts, tested experience if needed, a syllabus that matches a college class, and a data form. All of this goes to a chair for review. If this is approved, for the most part, we offer the class. A couple departments in the CTE and the sciences require a site visit first to check out the facilities. Once the facilities are approved, usually we're good to go. But this is what launches the process. So this is dual enrollment instructors at this point can still have a master's degree in any field with 24 upper division credits, which is different than adjuncts, right? We don't have that anymore. So we have about 35 instructors who still fall under this category. Some of them have submitted some compliance plans and they're working towards qualifications. Some instructors, there's a portion on the form that says, I know I'm not qualified, I'm not going to become qualified, I'm going to stop teaching in September of 2022. So that's happening for some instructors as well. But what I've done is you'll have access to this form so you can see current, how many instructors. Math is our largest area of deficiencies for qualification. And the other thing that I've done is I've proposed to our administration and to Mesa Public Schools what it would look like if we offered professional growth funds equivalent to adjunct instructors for dual enrollment instructors to work on their credits. What we're looking at is seeking development funds from the development office, grants, or something like this, so that we can provide this money. So if you take a look at the tuition cost, this is the per credit cost for the 3 universities. These were the discounts that they gave Maricopa employees. So the total cost for all of the credits that were deficient is here. So I'm proposing that we would do $750 per instructor per year for 3 years. So they would have the equivalent of adjuncts for professional growth. This is the percent of the degree that it would cover. And so the option here is if MCC funded all of this, it's about $26,000 per year if every instructor took advantage of it. And then I've also proposed to Mesa Public Schools, since we split the footsie, if they paid half and we paid half, what would that look like? So it's something that we're exploring. Many of those instructors we have not vetted for tested experience in the academic disciplines. So this is my plan, is to send the files to instructors to confirm that I have all their transcripts and documents. And then I would forward these to chairs to review for tested experience. Because some of those instructors may actually be qualified. All the dual enrollment leads that chairs have identified will be added to this Canvas course. Dual enrollment instructors self-enroll into the course. You will be added as TAs to the course. So in here, this is how I communicate and collect things from dual enrollment instructors. So I ask instructors, DE instructors, to do a one-time SIS rosters and grades quiz. It's 10 questions. It's for the lifetime of them teaching here. I ask them to submit a syllabus. When HLC comes to visit, this is where I pull up all the syllabus, so they should have an updated one. And then to do an acknowledgement that they know there will be a site visit and that they have annual disclosures. Again, it's a work in progress, right? A change in culture that they're submitting syllabus to one place and understanding that these need to be on file.
And are their syllabi, I'm assuming their syllabi are subject to the same administrative regulation in terms of what has to be on the syllabus as our own?
Exactly. And so I give them a template that they can fill out the foundations template. And this has all of the updated requirements from the district office. Okay. We have had issues in the past with attendance and instructional requirements. So for example, if a dual enrollment instructor goes on leave, we have to have a qualified instructor take over that class. And the IGA says we work with the high school to solve that problem. So that's where sometimes I have to work with chairs and we come up with creative solutions. Like we have an adjunct teach that class. And it becomes a concurrent enrollment section. Dual enrollment instructors can either take EDU 250 within 2 years, or there is a Canvas equivalent course, I encourage all dual enrollment instructors to do this. Because should they become adjunct, then they can do a tuition waiver and take EDU 250. I would not want a dual enrollment instructor to have to pay to take EDU 250 when they can take a free course. Well, if you're working with DE instructors, please invite them to attend professional development at the college. The CTL treats them just like regular adjunct residential instructors, and so that they have access to professional development. If your department does discipline retreats or professional development, if you host meetings, just include your DE instructors. They should feel as much a part of your department as your adjuncts in residential do. These are all of the dual enrollment courses this year. You'll be able to see the instructor's first and last name. Some of them don't know this information, their employee ID, SIS ID, MEID. They may need help accessing things. These are the courses that they're offering. Here you have their high school email address. This is the best way to contact them, right? They don't use Maricopa email. I just received a report from scheduling today of the number of students enrolled in every course, so I'm going to fill that column in for you. So you can see how many of these courses actually have students enrolled. And then this columns M and N, these are where your chairs designated which courses you're supposed to be supervising. So I'm going to do a brief tutorial here on Google Sheets. I have this form set up so that you have filters. So if you wanted to find all of the instructors that you are assigned to evaluate, you can choose column M and find your name. I press clear. I want to see which courses Alex Chorosky is evaluating. These are his courses. These are the instructors. Their email addresses are here. This is the enrollment, so students enroll in these courses in the fall. He's welcome to go out and visit them. If you turn the filter on before you close the document, turn the filter off. Okay? Faculty evaluators, you're the content expert, right? My role is facilitating paperwork and helping with collecting a syllabus. Your role is to review a syllabus to make sure that it's matching. If it doesn't match, we don't say, you can't teach for us anymore. It's, let me help you with your syllabus. Or I noticed that the final exam doesn't align to ours. Let's sit down and see if we can align an exam or create a project. We really need to be working together, collaborating on these courses. So syllabus review, you can look at it in Canvas, or when you visit the instructor, ask them to look at their syllabus and go over it and talk it. Share your syllabus with them if you're comfortable doing that. Textbook designation, so as the lead, if you know your department wants a textbook linked to that course, there's a column on the master calendar where you can add the textbook. Please put the ISBN on there. It's going to take a while for Mesa Public Schools or the high school to buy the textbook, but at least it's documented that we're asking them to get it. If you think you're going to add a textbook and you're interested in using something that doesn't cost money, come and meet with me and we'll find an online or a free textbook that students can use. So you have your site visit report. What I have linked for you, this report Dr. Dupree and I worked on from the national accreditation of concurrent enrollment, so it matches national standards. And what I ask you to do is, if you want, take a paper version with you, fill out the paper version when you're in the classroom, and then you submit it as an online form. Last year, our education department asked, can I just meet the instructor for coffee? And I thought it was a fabulous idea. So think about how much more you might get out of a conversation with an instructor instead of watching them teach for 40 minutes. If you could sit down and talk about curriculum, pull up assignments, look at exams, talk about the 4 C's. How are you integrating 4 C's? I think you would get much more out of an evaluation if you sat and talked than just go in for a snapshot visit. So you can consider that as well. There is a section here for not enough evidence. So for example, if your department is going to do a facilities review before you offer the course, then you would do not enough evidence, well, on some of these, and then you would decide, is the facility excellent, adequate, or needs improvement, and there's notes at the bottom for why. I ask you to submit this via Google form. Then what happens is twice a year, the end of the spring semester, I enter all of this as payments to the evaluators, to HR, and you'll see this in your checks. I would encourage site visits for courses that have students enrolled, courses that you're considering, and courses that don't have students enrolled. And I think that it's okay to do a site visit even if students aren't enrolled, because it's building a relationship, talking about curriculum, vetting curriculum, and coming up with strategies how to increase enrollment in the future. Now, if a course doesn't make for a year or two, we probably don't need to do a site visit, but you would get a stipend then to go out and to work with the faculty on the course so that we have that curriculum alignment, which is really what we have to do for our standards.